going into the trailhead for, what's it called?
The Coast Campground.
Yeah, Coast Campground.
From the Laguna Trail. There.
Short one.
Alright, and it's 1.8 miles.
Yeah.
And right now, well, it's 7:40 New Jersey time. So what's that? California time.
4:35 right now.
It's 4:35. Alright, to the coast. Just past the hostel, there's a small parking lot where we got all of our gear ready and then headed on to the Laguna Trail going toward the coast. This ended up being a fairly easy trail. There are some uphill sections, but for the most part it's flat and pretty easy to hike. Yeah, they're not the brightest birds I've ever seen. There's these, I don't know, maybe quail. We're not really sure what they are. We're herding them. From the parking area, the Laguna Trail goes up over the mountain and then kind of levels off at the top and then starts to go down into the valley over toward the coast. And this is where the Coast Campground is located. The upper portion of the campground is up on the mountain and the lower portion is closer to the water. So you do see signs warning you about tsunamis in case of an earthquake. But we were happy that we were up on the hill more because this gave us a great view of the valley. We could see the ocean and we could even hear the waves. Campsite number 2. I think this was a good choice because we have a pretty good view and the sunset. Alright, let's set up camp. This is our first time using the
tiny one.
Tarp tent and the brand new
the tarp.
Well, the tarp tent and the ground cloth, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a brand new setup, so might take us a little longer than usual. Our campsite is on the other side of that hill right there. We walked around the trail. Water's over there, and here are the bathrooms. So pretty easy, and then the ocean is, we think, down in between those two hills. So we're gonna go check that out next. There are some hills and cliffs that separate the beach from the main fire road here. But at the back of the horse campsite, there's a trail that will take you down to the water.
Sorry. Hey, buddy. Come this way. Hello. Hello.
Is it supposed to walk at us? We survived almost being attacked by those deer and continued down to the water. When we got to the beach, we found this perfect beach lined with cliffs, and we were the only 2 people there. We've found in the past that when we're staying in a national park, if we take the time to just backpack a short distance into the backcountry, it gets us away from the crowds, and our effort is really rewarded by getting to experience the park in a very different way.
Very grainy sand.
It's like
rocky.
Pieces.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very cold.
Touch of Pacific for the first time?
Oh! Patrick gets to touch the Pacific Ocean for the first time. Yeah! Woo!
Not bad, I'll go first. only 1.8 miles to do the walk, but it's really, it feels like you're in the middle of nowhere. Only other couples here, and it's really close to our campsite. We're campsite number 2. Bathrooms are real close by, and you really can't do much better. Maybe the water a little warmer to take a dip, but not right now. A little cold.
We headed back up to the campsite so that we could finish setting up the tent and start to make some dinner. Once the sun went down, this ended up being one of the coldest nights that we spent camping in California. Luckily, we were prepared with all of our layers and our warm sleeping bags. Just like our tiny house, our campsite has multiple rooms. We have the bedroom, our tent setup, which I have to say, for our first time actually using this tent, pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good pitch. This is the dining room.
And invest in good steaks.
Yeah, the Groundhog MSR steaks did a fantastic job. This ground is really hard, and they did great. Yeah. The kitchen, right here, this is our kitchen.
An emergency room.
It's the EMS over there. And the living room. So we can sit up here with the REI camp chairs and enjoy our sunset and view of the ocean. As we were finishing up dinner, the sun was starting to get low, and this was where we started to realize how awesome this campsite was, and just this campground in general, the location and the solitude, just a short hike into the backcountry. As the sun got low, the sky started to turn the most beautiful colors. We grabbed our camera gear and headed down to the beach to see if we could capture it. And of course, like everything else, the pictures that we were able to get are just a small taste of what it was like to be there and to experience this sunset in person. Good morning. Alright, go back to sleep. I'm gonna go get water, make breakfast. This tree is right by the trail to go down to the beach, and I think it has to be one of the coolest trees that I've ever seen. It's massive.
I think I have a little bit of time for tree climbing before I have to make breakfast. The waves look like they're a lot bigger than they were yesterday, or at least a lot louder. We could actually hear the ocean all night, which is really nice. And I was kind of hoping I would get up earlier to walk down here while the sun was coming up, but that didn't happen. I think this trail right over here on the side, right there, is the coastal trail, which is a longer trail that we were going to take home, or back to the hostel, back to the car. But once we get onto Angel Island, I think we have another like 3-mile hike to get to our campsite, because we're camping on the far side of the island. So I was talking to Pat, and I think we might take the same trail back to the car, just so that we don't wear ourselves out today. I just climbed up this hill right behind my favorite tree over here and gave a really nice view of the valley right over here, which is where the coastal campground is, and you can actually just barely make out our tent over there, kind of nestled in the bushes. Alright, let's go see if Patrick is awake. I found a Patrick. I guess you found me.
We spent some time that morning exploring a little farther up the beach, and it was absolutely awesome. I wish we could have spent more time there, but we had to pack up our stuff and start heading back out to the parking lot because we had a little bit of a drive before we were going to catch the ferry to Angel Island. When we got back to the car, we started driving toward Tiburon, where we had to catch the ferry, and we ended up stopping in this town called Fairfax. It was a really neat town with lots of little cafes, and we were hungry, of course, because we had just hiked out of the backcountry. So, like typical hikers, we ended up ordering a huge amount of food.
There's the cafe. I can't really see it. There's the cafe we had lunch at Barefoot. It was really good. I was highly impressed. That was the best omelet I've had in a really long time. And what did you have?
Chicken sandwich.
Chicken sandwich. Very good. Cute little town, Fairfax.
We continued our drive down toward the ferry terminal. The ferry for Angel Island is located in the town of Tiburon. This is a very upscale neighborhood that is located right on the San Francisco Bay. A lot of people who live here end up taking a ferry across the bay every day into downtown San Francisco for work and then coming back home. So the town was a little bit difficult to navigate. We ended up spending a while circling around trying to find parking, and little did we know we had no time to spare.